Welcome to another live today. I'm here with Robin from Robin Gardens. She hails from Chicagoland, so there are two U.S. people on today. Uh, so hello, Robin, and welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me again.
Let me just say hi to who I see in the house. We've got Mel. Hello, Mel. Andrew, and we got Wyoming Yeti. Whoop, push that button. There we go. Pauline and Joe. Oh, and Rob, welcome. Yeah, lovely conversation going on in here. And if I miss you, I'm so sorry. I will do my best. Let me click on this just a little further down. Yeah, you guys have been chatting a lot. So we thought we might talk a little bit. We're going to talk about perennials today. We realize that is just an enormous topic. So, and the goal was to talk a little bit about fruit and vegetable perennials, and also some florals. So, if you have any questions about your perennials or perennials that you'd like us to know that you're growing, please put it in the comments. But I'm first going to ask Robin, and then I'll ask the chat kind of what's going on in the garden right now.
Oh, I have a lot of things going on, but first, it's a real special day. 42 years ago, I married this guy.
Oh, that's sweet. You know,
So,
it's so funny that you look at your wedding pictures, at least if you've been married as long as Robin and I have been, and they don't age, they don't age, they don't. And then one day you open it up and go, oh my word, we wore that. Yeah. So it's kind of it's cute, but yeah, there is a day where it switches over and you go, "Oh yeah, that picture dates me." Yes, well, congratulations.
well, thank you.
That's that's an accomplishment in negotiation. See, I feel like anybody who's been married these kind of years should honestly be in some high level negotiation place, because I always call marriage like endless negotiation. That's really what it is, right?
It,
We're gonna come to a meeting of the minds, whether we
and
like
commu-
it or not.
and communication, I mean, we
You
talk
got
about
to.
that so much. You try and you try to be a good communicator, but sometimes you fail, but then you see other people and you're like, "Oh, we got this nailed. We're okay."
Yeah, and there is occasion where you'd like someone to read your mind, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Just read my mind. And we know that never happens, at least in a marital situation. That's never going to happen. And usually when you read their mind, you're wrong. So, oh, congratulations, Mel. 30 years for them yesterday.
Oh, happy
Awesome.
anniversary.
Yes. And Rob is coming up on 46 years.
Ooh,
Well,
cool.
you win the award so far in this crowd. Okay, so what's going on in your garden, Robin?
Oh my gosh. We did a marathon plant out. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we just planted everything out, broke down those temporary zipper greenhouses that we put up in the spring. And it feels so good. It feels so
Oh,
good
yeah.
to have it all in. Of course,
Yeah,
then yesterday I went and started, 2 trays of 36 succession stuff, but
sure. Yeah, because I've got to definitely start that like this week, and I don't have everything in yet. But I think if I don't start soon, the summer will be over. So let's get it started and at least have it ready. Uh,
especially for the lettuce and the herbs. Um, you gotta replenish because they
they don't They don't make it the whole season. Absolutely.
And we're in for a hot one, both you and I.
Oh,
Uh, it's supposed to be above average all summer. Yay.
yeah, and it seems like Robin's in Chicago and I'm in Detroit. So it seems like they get our weather the day before we do. So I need to kind of keep my eye on Chicago weather so I know what's coming. At least because today we have the heat that they had yesterday. And it is so hot outside. I'm not even going to leave the house today. It's just horrible. Um, so and I was telling Robin earlier that I still have about what did I say? About 30 flats?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have about 30 flats to put in, which is
Amazing.
a horrifying thought because I'm thinking I'm like my garlic needs to come out if I want to get and my onions need to come out, but they're not going to be out for a while. So I need to be very creative about where I'm putting everything. So what about you guys? Oh, go ahead, Robin.
I just had a question. You made me pop up in my mind. My garlic really seems like probably 2 weeks ahead of normal. I swear I'm going to have scapes soon.
Well, and it could be because of this insane weather. I mean, we actually had kind of a spring this year. It was almost a spring, and then it obviously has gone way into summer. But I
So
think that can put more growth on.
yeah, I mean I really feel like they're way ahead. Um anyway,
Yeah,
we'll just
mine
have
are
to.
huge. Mine are absolutely huge, and I hope that means my bulbs are all huge. But I haven't seen any evidence of escape yet, and I'll be honest, I haven't been looking for it yet. So I probably need to check that out and
'Cause-
see. I'll go back there and they're all swirled and like, why didn't you pick us already? Yes. Yeah. And I saw that, was it Pauline had a 40th anniversary coming up? Let me see. Was it Pauline? Because those are amazing longevities.
Jean has a 40-year
Oh,
coming up next
Jean.
week.
Yeah, that's it. It was Jean. Well, happy anniversary soon. Uh okay, Rob's still getting rain. Leanne, yeah, 30 flats. Wow. I feel like 30 flats, I'm insane and I just need to stop. Uh, I've got most things planted or successions sown, put my tomatoes out and some peppers, but it was 1 Celsius overnight.
Ooh,
Wow.
that was low.
That is very low. Wow. Well, I hope they all survived. And so at least just some peppers, because peppers I think might get knocked by that. Your tomatoes might survive, but they won't be happy for a minute. So, oh, I hope it all survives for you, Leanne. Yeah, we're past that. We're like, I was telling, oh my, bad time to pull a blank. I was telling Robin, oh my goodness, that we're 30 to 32 today. So no chance of it being a little too cold. And my tomatoes and peppers are now ready to go out this week. So we'll get that's to me the real start of the season when they all start going out and
It
they're
does. It makes
supposed
it feel official, doesn't
it
it?
does. And you get to start looking for tomatoes and yeah. Oh, Mel has a scape on the elephant garlic, but it hasn't bulbed up. Interesting. Because I always take that when the scapes are in, I kind of set the clock for about 2 to 3 weeks and my garlic is out. Because usually then they start, after the scapes come off, they just start turning that brown, like we're done, we did our job.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd have to say it's the end of the first week of June, sometimes till the middle of June is when I get the scapes.
yes,
And then 4th of July is kind of like the marker, start watching. pay attention, you might need to pull.
Yeah, and my onions usually follow that pretty quickly. So I'm gonna end up with, like, 2 of my major beds blank come, early July. So I have to have stuff ready to go in when those pop out. Let's see, who else is Oh, wow, Jean found escape on her elephant garlic already. Yeah, I think this weather just is gonna mess with us a bit,
Yep.
and, I love the garlic scapes, though. To me, those are one of the reasons I like to grow hardneck garlic. Although I've not found softneck work for me. Now, you had planted some softneck,
I do.
I
It's my
saw.
first year, so it's made it through the winter. It's looking great. I'm excited because we'll have longer storage than the hardneck.
Absolutely, and you can braid those, which are so pretty, because you can't do that with the hardnecks. You just have to throw them in a bowl and hope they make it as long as they will. Uh, Andrew is saying his problem is, they keep putting lily bulbs and dahlia tubers on sale, and I can't resist. I
Oh,
know. You
half
know,
price. Oh,
they
I
know
couldn't resist
gardeners
either.
at their core. "Yeah, let's just throw this on sale. We'll clean these out so fast because they can't resist it." Oh, yeah, I can't wait till David Austin roses go on sale half off. I don't think they probably
Never.
never have to. Uh, 'Cause now that I just planted one, a couple of weeks ago, and I've got the bug again. I mean, that's how I started gardening was with roses. So now that I have one, I'm looking around the yard, where can I put all the other ones that now I need to have? So, yeah, well, good. I hope you have more room though, Andrew, to put them all in. Or maybe you can just, find some room, right? Dig up a tree or, you know, get radical. Uh Oh, Tractor Supply does that here. Oh.
Oh,
See, I'm so glad I have a Tractor Supply, but it's like a good hour drive. So it's not like I pop in there a lot to go see what they have. But oh, I'm glad that's far away then.
I mine's not close, but it's close enough. I'm gonna have to go have a peek.
Yeah, they have some I think they just have an interesting combination of what they carry. From cattle panels to dahlia tubers. I mean, that to
And
me is
baby
pretty.
chicks and
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. So I think we'll start talking about perennials. Uh, and we're going to start with the edible perennials. And Robin has a very long list of what she has in her garden. So can I ask you to read that? I just think it looks fabulous.
well, okay. So, for perennial food, I have blackberries, thornless blackberries. I've got two types, and I have 9 types of blueberries. I
Mm,
have 5 types of strawberries. And then this year we added 2 currants and 2 gooseberries. So I'm kind of berried up. And then I have my
yeah.
cherry trees for other fruit. And then I added a mulberry tree.
Okay, so you have a lot of fruit. A lot of fruit. I was trying to think what I actually have fruit-wise. I think I have one blueberry that I'm not sure will do anything because I only have one. I don't know if they self-pollinate or not. Uh, I have 2 cherry bushes that I bought this year that are not yet in the ground. Uh, Strawberries, I just bought 50 new ones, so we'll see how they do this year.
Ooh,
Uh,
yum.
I've never tried a gooseberry. They always look, like, so prickly. Isn't it like a rose bush? And
It's
you're
it's got little thorns. Yep, it sure does.
and there are they tart?
Little tart
Okay. But refreshing.
in a good way. In a
Okay.
good way, yeah. Um, so I have two types. One's supposed to be sweeter than the other,
Okay.
of those two varieties. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I do have a couple of little berries. If the birds, let me keep them, we'll have a taste at least of what they are
Yeah.
um, going to be.
And mulberries get very large, don't they?
They do, but I picked a dwarf one,
Okay.
and I'm
Smart.
planning to go ahead and top it too if it
Okay.
gets going. So far, cicada update. I have them. I took some pictures
Do
and posted
you?
them on Instagram, but nothing like we thought it could be.
Well, we
I
don't
had
have any here yet.
I
Like we
had
were,
two.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I had two emerge in my oldest cinder block bed, and it was under a brassica cage, a net that I had. So they were stuck in there. That's how I got to take a picture. And I was
Uh,
like, well, it makes sense. That bed's been there long enough that, they
oh, they could.
burrowed down in there.
Wow.
They're
We were on
ugly.
the deck last night. We were on the deck last night, and I was like, we don't have one cicada yet. And it's been hot. So I'm kind of shocked they're not here. So I think maybe they're getting a slow start. We'll see. I'm curious to see what it looks like mid-June, or as we head to July, because that's when we stop being able to hear outside. It's so loud, and I just can't imagine. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. So I'm not wrong that they're not quite here yet, because you're going to get them first for
Yeah,
sure.
and I do. So we didn't go crazy netting everything. The mulberry tree I was worried about, but it's new, it's small. I don't If it takes it out, they apparently just grow like weeds.
Right.
And
So it probably will regrow.
right, so it's their first year. I just want it to make roots.
Yes.
Um, we're just gonna ride it out. I honestly don't think it's gonna be, knock on wood, as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
But remembering back 17 years, it wasn't that bad either. We had them. But there
Okay.
were areas all around us that were, thick with it.
Well, I hope we don't get anything terribly prehistoric looking. Uh, yes.
Wyoming Yeti, the Hanan Mackie Red, that's the one of the two that I got. And it's rated fine for my 5B climate. So I'm not sure about -25 though.
Wow, you get down to -25. Okay, that is a whole new level of cold. That is really cold. Oh my word. Uh, yeah, and what 5B goes down to what? -5? Is that kind of the rating?
I'd say that, I mean, we get a little lower, but it doesn't usually
So
hold
maybe
for too
-10
long.
is what they put because I'm a 6B, and I think our lowest is 0 or 5. And that I was gonna say that too. That is, why we over here in the States have zones, USDA, zones. It's got nothing to do with your first frost date, last frost date. It's more how cold it gets. So that when you're because anything perennial, it really just means, well, what's kinda gonna grow perennial in your climate? Because people in the South of the United States can plant a whole lot more perennials than Robin and I can because we're up here in the Midwest, and, we can't take that we don't our temperatures go too low for many, wow, we hit -30 occasionally. Wow. Yeah, that's like Canada weather. Wow, good for you. That is like cold stuff. Um,
Marie Louise is saying, my 4 Haskap berry bushes are in full bloom right now, expecting a nice harvest in a few weeks. Those Haskaps are supposed to go up into very, very cold weather. I've never tasted one. What do they taste like?
yeah. Oh, nice. I don't think I've even heard of that kind of berry. Yeah, that because that might be something that might work. Um, for Wyoming Yeti, I love it. I love it. So, have you tried any perennials, Robin, that haven't worked for you, that haven't survived? Or are you careful about what you try to put in?
Oh, yeah, azaleas. They're they're not dependable for me. Um, you know, I have lupin and I put another new one in and I've started some more from seed. But, I can't, I mean, I almost have to seed every year to make sure that I'm going to have some kind of a show for the next year.
Okay.
And, but they're so beautiful, it's worth it.
Can you grow a
Um,
fig there? Even the
I could,
Chicago Hardy?
I could, I've just never considered doing it.
Okay, yeah, I've tried 3 Chicago Hardys, and not one of them has made it. And as
I,
far as I know, that's the coldest hardy, fig there is. So maybe I have to, like, wrap in burlap or I just didn't want,
oh,
oh,
there we go.
I know. I love that apple stuff.
I I
Oh, oh,
I have a
oh,
friend of a friend on the other side of town, and he does figs in a big way. He is from Italy, um, but he has them all potted, and they all go into the garage for the winter.
okay. And he doesn't do anything special, he just puts them in the garage.
No, and I had a friend from work years ago, and he took his figs. He was also from Europe, um, and he laid them down somehow, and then he covered them with light manure and rugs for the winter,
Wow.
and it worked.
Well, I guess, if people have grown them from the beginning, then that would be good people to listen to. I see here that the Hascap, berry tastes between a blueberry and a melon.
Ooh.
That sounds fabulous.
Mm.
I'm in London, Ontario, Canada, and yeah, you do get cold winters. Um, wow.
Are they fussy?
Oh, I love it. Okay, this is why Wyoming Yeti it is the name. She was gifted a 9-foot, 350-pound welded Sasquatch sculpture when we moved, hence Wyoming Yeti. That
Awesome.
is awesome. That is awesome. So now when I ask, "Now where is Sasquatch?" I'll remember, "It's in your yard." That's awesome. So does anybody have any comments or questions about the perennials they're growing? Oh, and the Hascap is not fussy at all. Grows about 4 feet tall and 4 feet wide.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's my kind of a plant.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take a note of that too, like, that sounds good. I have a couple cherry bushes that I'm putting in this year, and I'd kinda like to make one of my I have a long bed that has a lot of fabric bags and plastic tubs in it, and I'd like to make one side of it all fruit. Because I thought then it'll enable me to, like, cover that part so that the birds don't just take it all out. Because 'Cause isn't it their job? Like, the day before they're ready to come in and just eat all of it.
It is.
I don't mind, sharing a little bit, but come on. You're not taking care of it, but you can have some. Uh, huh.
The other things that I have food wise are rhubarb
Yes.
and then a bunch of herbs that come back every year. I've got German and lemon thyme, although I had to replace my lemon thyme this year. Chives, oregano, lemon balm, mint, and lavender.
Yes. I also had red vein sorrel come back, which I didn't realize was perennial in my area, but it totally is. And that was a lovely surprise. And it came back with a vengeance. Like it was really happy. Now I lost my thyme this year. My
Oh,
lemon
did you?
thyme. I lost sage, which a lot of times sage will make it through for me. Did not. And I think maybe we just had a really maybe it was colder longer than it usually is, because that even makes a difference. If it's,
I'm
really low for a long time, that takes out a whole lot of things.
I'm almost wondering if it was the dry because in the spring at the early part, we got so dry I was ready to ask Al to hook up the hoses
Yeah,
to water some things. And then all of a sudden we got a rain. But before that, I think we might have gone 4 weeks without any rain. And it's in a raised bed and
exactly, exactly. Here Chris is asking a question, and I'll give that to you and I, Robin. He's growing or she, I'm sorry, uh, just bought an apple tree and pear tree. Never grown them before. Any advice?
I have not done either.
Pear trees, I think, need another pollinating pear. Don't quote me, but I because I've looked into growing pears because it's one of the fruits my husband's like, and I'm like, well, then why don't we have one in the backyard? That would be awesome. But I think I need two. Um, and I had an apple tree as a child, and I just remember uh, now my parents were not gardeners and didn't do much to it. So I think there are organic sprays now that you can use on them just to kind of keep some of the worm or other pressure off of the fruit. I would sure, if you haven't planted them yet, I'd sure put a lot of mycorrhizal fungi in the hole because those are going to be there a very long time. So I would um, try to get that developed quickly. Um,
There's a channel called James Prigioni.
oh, yes, he is like, he
He
has
is
more. Oh,
he is in New Jersey.
yes,
Um, and he does a lot of pears and he does apples and he's a good teacher. So if you go back and watch his channel, you'll probably get some good ideas. And he gets that one bug, cuculio, something like that. Uh, and he has to spray everything with an organic product called Surround Kale and Clay. And so his trees are kind of coated with this clay film, but he gets his fruit.
yeah.
I That's about the best one I can think of that's a really good teacher on the topic that I've watched.
And he does everything permaculture.
Everything.
So everything. So his garden is quite and it's an experience. Like to
And
just
he's
see him,
fun.
and he's a very lively dude. Very
Uh-huh.
lively, yes. And he's a really tall guy, and he has this little teeny weeny dog, which I think is hilarious because every time I see like a big guy walking a little teeny dog, it always makes me giggle because I just think, wow, that dog is not taking you for a walk tonight. Uh, yeah, yeah, I would love to have pear trees.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was on my list, but got to pick your battles every year, right?
well, and I have a magnolia in the backyard, which is very huge, and it's a very old tree. And we just had like a tree surgeon come this year to, because it never been cared for. So we thought, "Well, let's get this cleaned up." We lost half of it last year with a storm. The back half came off. And I uh I think if that goes down, I'm gonna put in two pear trees because I can get dwarf pears. They
Yeah.
won't cast as much shadow, and then I can have more garden beds. So
You could do them
espalier,
Espalier. Yeah. I That's kind of my
which
dream.
are gorgeous, aren't they?
They're pretty, and it kind of makes a fence that isn't a in your face fence.
Well, I've even seen trees where they've grafted different fruits onto the rootstock. So you get peach, pear, apple all growing on the same tree, which is kind of like a frankenfruit, but I guess they're all in the same family. I
There,
imagine. I don't know if they are, but
there's a lovely garden center here. Um, and it's about a half-hour drive. It's on the North Shore, so it's in the big money area of town. And to give you an idea, you are greeted by a concierge at the door when you
at the
step
garden
in
center,
at the garden center.
will he hold your plants for you while you walk? Is he a personal
If you
shopper?
if you want a personal shopper, they'll give you one. But they have the only collection I've ever seen like that where, the Espalade um fruit trees with one branch of this and one branch of that that you can go and look at and feel and touch rather than ordering online.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
concierge. Yep.
I
I go there to buy amendments and to have a lovely a lovely
do you
tour
have
of
tea and, a scone when you go there? Or do they
it,
give you a glass of wine like they do at a lot of grocery stores now? I'm like, "Really? I'm gonna drink wine while I'm grocery shopping?" And it's
oh
all just because it's that kind of, it's snooty. And I just think, "Wow, this is really snooty." Uh,
it, well, you've got ladies dressed to the nines with their
purse dogs.
really expensive Jimmy Choo shoes on that they shouldn't be wearing to a garden center, and they're like, "Ooh, ooh, it's wet. Well, it's
I
a garden
know, well, that's
center."
why you're supposed to have your wellies on right now, not your Jimmy Choos. Like, come on, read the
Why you
room, right?
why are you wearing them to go buy your plants
I
anyway?
know. See, then I would think you just get them delivered, right? They're not taking them home. Okay, I thought I saw something here. Oh, somebody had a great question. Marie had a question, and I'm just gonna try quickly to go back and find it. Okay. Do you find it easier to propagate perennials through cuttings or starting them from seeds? I think it depends on what perennial it is. I know for softer perennials, you can take cuttings and give them a little rooting hormone if you want. A lot of times you don't even have to do that. You can just put them in the ground and, take some good care of it. I saw someone recently on a YouTube who had taken some cuttings, but then they left all the leaf intact. And I thought that cutting's not going to do well. I would cut the leaves at least in half, from the stem to the end, so that the new cutting isn't trying to sustain quite so much. You want to kind of give it a fighting chance. Um,
I'm big on dividing uh a lot. Uh More than taking cuttings. I have uh, dip them in the rooting powder, and like you said, take off most of the leaves and cut a portion of the leaves that are left on. You put
right.
them towards the outside of the pot that you're trying to propagate in, and it works. But more of the things that I grow are easier to just take divisions of and share.
Well, it was funny. I tried to divide uh, heuchera, and I think it's either heuchera or heuchera. It depends. I'm not really sure how
Coral
that
bells.
coral bells. There you go. That's the easy way. And I was just like, yeah, we're just gonna split them. And well, they don't split like that. So we did that. And we ended up with this total mess. But it's like you snap off. Like you follow the root ball, and they're like in sections, and you just pop them off and plant them. I mean, the easiest, way easier than trying to cut it in half. And I got, 8 new coral bells out of it.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
yeah, so I was thrilled.
Let me see
Uh,
if I let me see if I can find the plant that there it is. Okay. This is the plant that I have shared divisions of the most
oh, wow.
from my garden. It's called archangels. It's a type of lamium.
Okay.
And I
Beautiful.
mean, this it's blooming here, but that's not what makes it pretty. It's that variegated leaf, and it has a very pretty round clump habit.
Okay.
Everybody that comes to my garden is like, "Ooh, can I have some of that?"
Well, because
So
it's
funny
like
because
so
I mean,
unusual.
I like it, but and you don't see it in the garden centers. I think that's why
And is that where you originally got it, or was it in
I
your
did. I got it at a
okay.
big box store.
Okay.
Put it in, oh, cool leaf. I got to have this. Oh my gosh, 30 something years ago, probably. But it's funny, that's the one everybody wants.
Yeah. Now, I do find, just going back to that original question, I do find great success with cuttings because a lot of the things that I'm trying to actually grow more of, it's like I want more rosemary. Really easy to propagate a rosemary from cuttings. And I've grown them from seed, but they take a really long time. That's the problem I have. Yeah, they'll grow from seed, but you better start them the October before you want to plant them out in the spring because they just take a long time. So I found with herbs I found a lot of success with that. But I imagine, oh no, I did split a thyme once and it was great. But thyme gets that woody interior
Hmm.
that I always think, I got to remember to cut that thing back really hard in the spring, so it just brings up fresh leaves because that woody, excuse me, that woody interior just kind of it's like lavender. Like
Yeah, it's not as tasty either.
yeah,
So even if you're not going to use it or dehydrate it or whatever, just whack at least a portion of it back so it comes back with some yummy tender growth that's
yeah.
that's tastier. Totally agree. And you know, lemon thyme can only be propagated. It can't come from seed.
Well, that might be why I've never seen it in a seed catalog.
Yep, you have to, you know, you'd have to propagate it. My little rosemaries, I was successful and they're about this big.
I buy plugs now from a place in Canada called Richter's Herbs and I get 12 plugs. And they're beautiful and they come ready to go in, pop them right in. And then I have lots of rosemary for the summer. Because I don't know about you, rosemary here does not overwinter.
No, no, I've never been able to overwinter it. The things I like to eat rosemary with are kind of like the fall things, the winter squash and the heavy soups and that kind of thing. So I figure by the time my rosemary is ready um, to use, I'll be ready to use it.
Well, I order barbecue rosemary and they come very long and thin.
Uh-huh.
So we skewer stuff for the barbecue with them. And
Yum.
it's so good. It's so I love when those are growing, uh,
Yeah.
right next to the barbecue, as a matter of fact. Um, okay, Laura is asking, do we ever struggle with fungus pressure on your rosemary? Wonder if it's because my climate is wet.
I have, but
Oh, okay.
it's when we have a particularly wet August towards the end of
Okay.
the season. Is that when you start getting the fungus, Laura? And it's for me, it's kind of a brown fungus on the leaves. And I'm guilty of cramming too much stuff into my garden, so I just have to start, you know, making
I know.
airflow.
Yeah. Now I grow the 12 that I do grow, I grow on the top of a green stalk. So they if anything, they're gonna be dry. And that seems to rosemary seems to enjoy that.
Yeah, they definitely don't like wet feet. Is there some place you could put it, Laura, in a pot that's got super great drainage with a lot of perlite and maybe some sand in the mix to make it super draining?
Oh, Andrew, it says he always cuts his thyme and sage back really hard, and they always get a second flush of flower. Same with chives. Yes, I grow an alternating. It's probably about a 35-foot row of chives, garlic chives, and right now the chives are in that full pink blossom
Mhm.
season. They look so pretty, and I can tell the garlic chives are starting to really wake up. So, yeah, and we do end up preserving and keeping a whole lot of those by the end of the season. Oh, here we go. Yes, mine is brown too, and they look so sad. I'm guilty of cramming in too much as well. Well, I don't think that's the worst thing that a gardener can do is because my theory is if I don't cram it in here, a weed will grow here. Something will grow here. And I'd rather it be my rosemary, even if I don't get every piece of it. Uh, yeah, but I'm totally guilty of that as well. That's maybe why I'm giving you such grace about it.
It's kind of like the July to-do list job is to create airflow. Oh,
Really, which makes me
powdery
wanna
mildew is
just
gonna come. Let's get
which
some
just makes me
airflow.
wanna set up fans everywhere, right? Like, okay, we're not getting a lot of natural airflow. Let's get some nice industrial fans blowing through here. Uh, Joe is saying that his have died and gone brown this winter. I think it's just the incredible amount of rain. Now mine die and go brown, but that's just because it's too cold. And I don't think they're brown for fungus. I think they're just brown because they're very dead. And yeah, and I hate when we usually get a hard frost maybe by mid-November. We're down to 28, 26, just for like a day or two, and then it all peps back up to a nice weather for a while. And I think, well, everything that I really wanted to keep just died. So, uh, yeah, I wish I could do something about that early. Okay, now Welsh onions, are these like the crawling onions?
Yeah, like
Okay.
Egyptian.
Yeah, have you ever grown those?
I've not done the Welsh. I've done the Egyptian walking though.
Okay, and you like those?
Honestly,
I'm
the
waiting for it
flavor
'cause
is okay. It's just okay. You
yeah,
know,
they
you
s they confuse me.
it's their fun because they get those little bulbils at the top of the ends of the green and then they fall over and then plant themselves, or you can take the little you know bulbs and plant those, and it's fun for a while. but I mean, I stopped growing them because the flavor just, there's other things that taste much better. I've not done Welsh onions though. That's Egyptian walking onions.
Okay. Now I've grown Welsh onions because they were red instead of white, like they were spring onions. But that I don't know if that's considered a Welsh onion or it was a variety I had that was a Welsh red. So, yeah. Huh. So how about because we've only got like 15 minutes here. How about we move into a little bit of chatting about perennial flowers?
Okay.
And I was never a fan of perennials because I just like to plant stuff and now that I'm getting a little older, I love perennials because they just keep coming back and doing beautiful things. And so let's hear your list, Robin. I'm excited to hear this.
You're not going to hear my whole list because it's huge.
Oh, read fast then. No, I'm
All
just
right.
kidding.
You want me to read this
No,
list?
it's okay. You can pick and choose.
Um, I'm just going to say probably if I had to pick out the hero in the garden, I think sedum is probably the hero.
Yep.
It kind of goes in partial sun, it goes in full sun. I bought these tiles, like literally they were like 12-inch by 12-inch tiles with different kinds of low-growing sedums,
Hmm.
and I planted those, and it's so cool because there's so many different types in there. Uh
Oh,
like
yeah.
that one is red right now, turning green, and it blooms pink. The one right next to it blooms white, and the one at the far top blooms yellow. I mean, they're just the bomb.
Well, and
This one I took
they
this one
require
this
no
morning.
care.
And it's firing up yellow.
Beautiful. And it's
Uh,
almost like the more you neglect them, the happier they are.
this
Don't you
one
think?
this one is just firing up with its bit, and it'll be really full on yellow blooms.
Oh, so pretty.
And then in the fall, there's the autumn joy. I think I put a picture aside of that. There we go. And I have two colors of it, the
Oh, beautiful.
pink and the white, and
And that's called
that
Autumn Glow?
autumn joy.
Joy. Beautiful.
And I have a new one. I didn't take a picture of it because it's just burgundy leaves, those succulent leaves.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but I got it last year in the fall, so we'll see what that is. So I'd say sedum is my big hero in the garden. After that, daisies. I have
Mm.
Shasta and Montauk. And then although it's not a perennial, it just acts like one. I have oxeye daisies.
Okay.
I call them Door County daisies because I got them from the Door County property. They're not really a perennial. They just
They're a big
reseed
self-seeder.
themselves, I
Yep,
think.
yep.
And so I have starting in June, I have some kind of daisy in the yard uh in different places going. So, and those Shastas go for a long time.
Oh, and they're beautiful. I have, I think 7, 8 pots of those, and they've come back just beautifully. So I'm very excited. Those will probably be the first thing to bloom in my garden, I think, because they're well up. And sedum, I think, is a great if you have a problem area. Okay, like the way our homes are built here in Detroit,
Hmm.
you get like a little slice of dirt, probably about 2 feet, maybe 18 inches between the driveway and the house. And, you've got brick on one side and cement on the other. So I have tried everything. I planted sedum, never looked back. Like they're just happy and they're like water us, don't water us, we don't care. We're gonna grow here. Uh,
And and you save so much money for your pots, taking a little clump of that from the earth and put it in a pot so that it can trail down.
yep,
It looks tremendous and it costs you $0. I love that.
yes.
This this is right down here at the bottom, lamium,
Uh-huh,
and I've got two or three kinds of lamium. I think the dead nettle is the other name for it.
right.
Um, I didn't grab any more pictures this morning when I was out there, but that's another nice hero of the garden because it can fill in all the places where you've got
So
um
it'll crawl along the ground as well as drape down a pot,
it will.
which is
And I've
perfect.
got some that bloom pink and some that bloom white. And if you kind of trim them back, you'll get a second smaller flush of flowers. So that's great. Oh, this is my fall favorite. It's kind of like the last hurrah thing. This is called Turtle Head.
Beautiful.
And when almost everything else has petered out perennial wise, it comes into its own. And I had really, really good luck with my dianthuses annuals all
Okay.
coming back. And
Wow.
it's like a little perennial bush now. I've got red, I've got fuchsia, I've got white. So I went and bought a 6 pack of another kind of dianthus that looked kind of cool. And so I'm hoping that these will overwinter also.
Wow, that's kind of unexpected, isn't it?
It
For a
is, it's a
dianthus to do.
bonus.
Yes.
Yeah, at least here in Chicago. Um, I have several kinds of hosta. This one, I don't have it in, I couldn't find a picture of it in bloom. This is what it looks like today.
Okay.
You know, kind of a variegated leaf at the end. There's some creeping Jenny. That'll go everywhere
Creeping
too.
Jenny is like to me, one of the, like, you can't kill it. It comes back and it moves and it spreads and you can cut a piece off and stick it somewhere else. I mean,
This is my favorite hosta. It's called Fragrant Bouquet. It puts up a white flower, looks like every other hosta flower, but the
oh,
smell is amazing. Fragrant Bouquet.
wow. No, I've never heard of a hosta flower smelling nice.
My other ones don't have any kind of an appreciable smell.
Now, do they attract slugs?
I knock on wood. I don't have
Okay.
trouble. Up north, the house in Wisconsin, you can't do hosta because it is a buffet deer favorite.
Okay. Yeah, those deer. They're gorgeous though. I'd be like, I'll give you a hosta. Just don't give me any what is it that they have?
Ticks.
Ticks. Yeah. Don't give me any of your ticks, but you can have some of my hosta. Yeah. Uh
Do you have a favorite perennial in your yard?
uh I love heuchera. I don't know, or heuchera again, well, however you say it, because it overwinters for me. So it leaves winter color, which out of most perennials, they all just die back and you get nothing. And they seem to love I have a very shaded front yard, like at
Mhm.
least within 6 feet of the house, and nothing really likes to grow in dead shade except boxwoods and heuchera. So I just put in, I think, another 6 just the other day to kind of round out what I'm trying to do up there. Uh, I just love them, and I think they look pretty, and they put out blooms for almost half the year. They've got those little spikes, going up. So that and daisies, I love my daisies, and now I have a rose. So that brings me back to, like, my roots. So I think I'd mentioned I'm going to be planting a whole lot more of those very soon here.
I have a little circle that has a bird bath in the middle, and I have a little trellis in the back that has a clematis. And then I have a stilby,
Hmm.
and then in the front I have the coral bells, the heuchera. And then I have some viola and pansies that just have come back, and a little clump of columbine I'm trying to get going. And that is the prettiest little circle. It makes me so
Yeah.
happy when I go over there.
And the
Um,
beauty is it doesn't require a ton of care, right? I mean, occasional weeding probably.
Zero. I mean, I
Yeah,
probably weed it like literally two, maybe three times a summer because it is so full. It just crowds out and covers the
it
earth.
crowds out the which I think is one of the beauties. Now, to really be a good perennial gardener, I mean, there is an art to that. And I remember touring a very beautiful, and he was an amateur gardener, but he had it set up so there was always color, there was always different textures, like whatever time of year it was, it just all it turned into a different garden with each season. And
Uh-huh.
I thought, okay, that is an art. That is not a science right now. You understand the plants. And ever since I saw that, I thought, wow, that's a thing of beauty.
That little circle pretty much has something going the whole season. I used to add some annuals in to give constant color, but now I kind of got the formula. The bed where that uh, pink turtle head in
Hmm.
is right here around my deck. And I'm I'm getting it there. It's got
Yeah.
Japanese anemone, it's got a few different kinds of hosta, it has some dianthus, a few different kinds of sedum, two kinds of clematis, lamium,
Mm.
a spring bulb, and it just
Yeah.
it starts in the spring with the lamium blooming, and it ends with the turtle head blooming in the fall. So I got that one right.
Yeah. That's beautiful because it's going to come back every year. The biggest thing you might have to do is occasionally split a perennial if it's getting too big, but then you can start that over again in your backyard, right? I mean,
Oh, I
that's the
know.
beauty
There's
of
one. Yep, there's another thing in that bed called it's a native. It's one of the only absolute natives I have. Great blue lobelia.
Oh,
So they get tall with a tall blue blue spike. It's almost
uh,
one of the only things I have that's like a true blue.
uh-huh.
Um, and it loves that bed. I had it somewhere else where I really wanted it. It didn't like it, but it likes that bed.
Okay, sorry. I'm reading again. That always sends me off. Oh, I think this is going to be sweet. I have plants are like friends when you spend time with them. You can tell if something is bothering them. It's
Oh.
absolutely true. Absolutely. And the better you know them, the better you can tell. Uh, how are your clematis? Do they get aggressive? Robin, is that were you talking about clematis?
I have a few different kinds. Here's the one trellis that has two different kinds.
That pink
The
one is like the classic, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Right down
it
the center.
the white one comes first, and then on its heels comes that pink and white one. Um, I just bought a Jackamini, the classic purple one,
Okay.
to go in a new area that I have, and then I don't know what color it is. I got $1.99, $1.99
Well, it almost
clematis last
doesn't
year.
matter at that price, does it? It'll be
So
pretty.
I
What?
don't care what it is. It's healthy. It was this little baby something something last year, and
Yeah.
it's quite, it's about 4 feet long right now. So I'm, you know, I don't, it's probably going to be a Giacomini, or isn't that like the most
But
common one?
yeah, that's okay. I planted 2 clematis this year. One was a hot pink and one was a purple. Uh, and all I know is that they like their feet shaded.
Mm-hmm. And wet.
Yeah, so the top can bake, but so I put some lamb's ears growing around their bases. So hopefully those will fill out and keep it nice and cool.
This is a clematis. It's called Sweet Autumn. So
That
it
is not
blooms,
your yard, is it?
yeah, it blooms in the fall.
Oh
And
my word.
behind that is my compost bin. So it
Wow.
hides my compost bin. But for 2.5, 3 weeks, you don't want to go over there because
The
every
bees?
bee in the neighborhood is
Yes.
there.
Oh wow, but how beautiful.
It
That is a
is.
gorgeous.
And it does have
Wow.
a
So
nice
that
smell.
one we might consider that one to be a little aggressive because
It
that's a
is.
big plant.
It
That's
is
a yeah.
it is an aggressive plant. It would spread, but it is not invasive. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, when
Right,
you
there's a
can put out
difference.
some
Yes.
babies and they come out easy, I don't consider that
Yeah.
invasive or
No,
aggressive.
but it looks absolutely gorgeous. Well, hey, we're at the hour. We're actually a little over the hour. Uh, this was a great discussion. And I think, you know, perennials are something we could talk about more because we just kind of scratched the surface, I think, a little bit. Um, so anyway, I just want to say, Robin, thank you so much for being here and sharing all your garden knowledge with us. And I'd like to thank everybody in the chat for being here. I do go back and read the entire chat I don't really get access to it right when we're done. Takes about a day to show up. I don't understand that, but it does. So if you've missed anything and want to go back, or if you have a question that didn't get answered, just on put it in the comments below, and I'll be sure to read it. And next week, drum roll, we have Laura from the Tiny Garden coming on. So
Yay!
that'll be great fun. So I hope to see you all back. And I think we're going to just have a great chat next week. And again, Robin, thank you so much. You're so easy to chat with, and you're just full of a whole lot of gardening knowledge. And I appreciate that.
Thanks so
So,
much.
so hey, everybody, have a great week. And we'll see you back here next week with Laura.